What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 17 figures. So in this wave from Cobra, we have Big Boa. So starting out with him, he looks awesome. He's just like a big boxer guy. Comes with some cool accessories and boxing gloves, so he'll look cool. Then from the Joe team, we have Airborne. So he looks cool. Be perfect to go with our Dragonfly when that comes in. So a good guy to go with the helicopters. Then we also from Joe have Quick Kick, so pretty cool to get a martial artist there. Looks like a ninja or whatever, I guess you'd say, so that's cool to get him. And then finally from Cobra, we have the Techno Viper, so they're kind of like the mechanics for Cobra. So he'll be good to work on the hiss if anything happens to it. So all four of those figures look cool. And then we also have the Deluxe Iron Grenadier of Metalhead, so this looks pretty cool as well. Looks like he's got an awesome design where he's got rockets shooting out his legs and off his back as well, so that just looks super cool. So we put looking at him as well. So all five of these characters look really cool. I'm super excited to check these out. So let me get them out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Big Boa, who is the Cobra drill instructor and physical trainer that whips Cobra troopers into shape with a voice like a bullhorn, fists the size of frozen turkeys, and a disposition of a grizzly bear. And overall, he looks pretty cool. So overall, there's not a whole lot of information about him. I do know that, like when Rain, he was supposed to be a part of Rocky, so they were wanting to bring in Sylvester Stallone's likeness in as Rocky and make him a Joe, and this was going to be the villain he faces. But overall, he looks pretty cool here. So he is supposed to be a boxer, so we'll get some like boxing gloves and stuff related to that. And overall, I think he looks awesome. So he is face there. Of course, you can see he is missing some teeth, so does fit in pretty well with a boxer and stuff, you know, missing some teeth and everything. And overall has a like kind of grizzled face, not the prettiest guy ever, but does look pretty nice. I love how he even has, you know, the cuts there on his cheek and stuff, but overall pretty nice face design with his hair. It looks like it's kind of more slicked back there. Then he's shirtless up top, but he does have this like chest harness on. It reminds me of like Mad Max sort of stuff, but a nice red chest harness with the spikes all over it, which is pretty cool. And then down on his hands, he does have them wrapped up, but you can see there's some blood on it, so where he's been fighting, so that's a nice little detail. Then we go down, he does, at least to me, look like he's wearing what would be like a Cobra style pants, so he's got mostly all these blue pants with a piece over his crotch area, so like a padded piece there with red, with a belt around his waist, so it kind of almost looks like a cord or rope or some sort. And then he's just got some black boots on his feet with some red designs on the padding sides there, so overall a pretty cool looking character. But we'll do the movement, so his head will twist all the way around. He'll look down that far and up that far. So not the best movements in the head. I wish there'd be more movements than that, but it's not horrible. The shoulders come up to 90 and have the butterfly joints, so it can butterfly back and forth there. Not a whole lot, but it does move. And then we can rotate around as well. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that bends up that far, so not too bad at all. With the wrist that'll twist around and can hinge back and forth. Then we go to the ab crunch, so we get the ab crunch cutout we can see there, so crunch forward, crunch, so good crunching with that. And then we also get the crunch and twist around at the waist as well. Then down to the hips up to 90 and out to the side. Of course, do have the drop down hips so he can do the splits, but then you just got to push him back up in there. We get the thigh twist that'll twist all the way around, and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, so not bad at all. And we get a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So good movements overall, and all his joints are pretty loose, so just only stiffness is in the shoulder where it's hard to get it fully back down there, but everything else is pretty nice and loose. Of course, that could have some issues trying to get him to stand with looseness of joints, but everything works out really good. Could have some better range, of course, but nothing bad. Now for accessories, we do get an additional helmet. So of course, like I said, don't have much information, so I don't know what this helmet is at all. It's actually an additional head. I thought it'd be a helmet you just put on it, but it's cool. It has the spikes on, again, looking like it's from the Mad Max. Has a tube that comes around here, so for breathing of some sort, but mostly all in this like this cream color, but like the red stripe, the orangish color visor across there, and the like breather area in the front. So that looks cool. So let's put this on him. So there's that helmet, which I think looks really cool. Like it doesn't really seem to fit with me, especially for the boxing design. But in this form here, it does look like it's straight out of Mad Max now, so I think that looks pretty cool. So wasn't too excited about the helmet, but actually having it on here, I think it looks really cool, so I may just leave that on there. We get additional hands, which again are going to be pretty cool. We get some boxing gloves, so we have some gloves here with Cobra logos on them, so that looks cool. And we have little arm pieces as well we'll have to put on them, so let me get his hands switched out and those arm pieces on. So there he's got the boxing gloves on, and I think that looks really cool. That's nice to have him posed up. And unfortunately, I did jump the gun. I should have left his other hands on because he does also come with some weights. So we get these 90-pound weights, so dumbbells here, which are pretty cool that we could obviously put into those grip hands that he did have on. So he could have these lifting weights and working out, but I just switched his hands out and don't want to switch him back because I think he looks awesome in this form with the boxing gloves and that helmet. He just looks super cool. So he looks like he is from Mad Max, but in the boxing area, so it could fit in like Thunderdome. That just looks super cool. This is such an awesome figure. I think he looks so cool with the helmet, the boxing gloves, and then coming with those weights as well, so you could have him like sort of working out. It's just so cool. So I absolutely love this figure. It just looks so awesome and a nice addition to the collection. And next up we have Airborne, who is Franklin Talltree. He's the G.I. Joe's helicopter assault trooper and gunner from the Navajo Reservation in Arizona, where his oil-rich parents bought him skydiving lessons, which gave him the love for being in the air. Now overall, he's going to be a pretty boring character, so just another sort of basic Joe, but he does belong in helicopters, so when we get that dragonfly, he'll fit perfectly in with that, so that'll be cool to add. But for now, like I said, just a pretty basic Joe, so not a whole lot to him. So we get his face there again, looks pretty decent overall, so he is going to be a Native American, so he'll have some of that look to him. Of course, he's in the military, so he has the shorter haircut design, but overall looks good there with a little bit darker skin tone. And then since he is up in the air in the higher altitudes, it's going to be colder, so he does have this thicker like sweatshirt type design on. I love how it's got the padding on the elbows there down to the wrist, where he's got some darker like grayish sort of blue tint to him, gloves there. Then we have his vest on, of course, have all the harnesses and stuff for being in a helicopter and possibly having a parachute attached to him. But we get this vest with some like this lighter blue color. Looks like we have the American flag sort of covered up by the knife holster, grenade sort of side, some little pockets, and just those brown straps going all the way around. They go down around his legs as well, again for using that parachute that he possibly needs. A little bit of green thrown in there as well, so this brighter green color, so add some pop of color in there. And he does have a logo up on his shoulder. I don't know what that stands for, but probably just part of like the Airborne design. And then we get that same color of outfit, so I don't know if that's a jumpsuit. It looks like it's separate because it does have a belt and looks like different material, but in that same sort of tannish cream color. The pants running down with the knee pads that match sort of like the elbows there, all the way down to the boots. So we have these dark gray or really light black sort of boots there on his feet as well. So like I said, overall just looks like a basic like army man sort of thing. So not a whole lot to him, just has a little bit more with his vests and straps and stuff since being in the Airborne, but he's overall not like super basic. But we'll do his movement, so his head will twist all the way around. Of course his neck's moving around in there too, but that'll twist around and he can look down that far and up that far. So a little bit better movements in his neck than Big Boa had. Then we get the shoulders that come up to 90 with the butterfly, again, very little back and forth there and can rotate around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far. So he has the pinless elbows where Big Boa did, so a little bit further there. The wrist can twist around and should flex, but because of that cuff, you're barely going to get any movement because of how deep it is in there. I can't even tell if it's an up and down. Yeah, it looks like it's an up and down sort of hinge hand there. Then we get the ab crunches again covered by the vest, so just get a little bit of movement. He does crunch. It feels like an ab crunch because he is moving back and forth. You just can't see it, but he's crunching back and forth there. And then of course at the waist he crunches and can twist around, but with all those straps you're not going to get too much. The hips can come up to 90 and out to the side again, do the splits with those drop down hips. Get a thigh twist around, it's going to be covered by those straps, but twist around in there. And the double knee joint, that's going to be real stiff on him, but you can get it bent all the way up there to the back, so pretty good. And he can pretty much kick his butt. So good, it's just real stiff in the knees. And then we go down to the foot, so it does have an ankle twist, so just up in the bottom of the pants there can twist around. And then the actual foot can rock back and forth and can twist side to side. So he has better range of movements all around, but the joints are a lot stiffer, so you have to deal with that. Now accessory-wise, we get a number of things. So first we'll go ahead and put these goggles. So he has a set of goggles since, you know, he's going to be jumping out of airplanes, need to protect his eyes. So we'll put the goggles on his face. So there's what he looks like. Not too bad. Of course, we have the thick strap going around, so it doesn't look the best, but there he's got those. And then we do also get a helmet to put on him. So we get this green helmet that we can slide on top. So there he's got the helmet. Of course, the helmet with the goggles don't really fit on too well, but it does work out. You know, it doesn't look horrible there. And then to go with that, we do also get this additional set of goggles, or at least like a covering. So I think it's supposed to be the goggles. They just have a covering for, you know, so to protect like the lenses and stuff, I believe. So we have this as well, unless it's just something that covers his eyes. I don't really know exactly, but you have this that you can put on top of the helmet as well. So you can either have them up there, I guess, if you don't put them on him, or just that. Again, I don't really know exactly what that's supposed to be. It just said like goggle covers or something, so not exactly sure. But you have that, or we can take them off and then add, he does have what'd be like the night vision sort of goggles and stuff. So we have this that we can attach, so that can hang down now closer in front of his face. Of course, the goggles may be in his way on this, but can sort of hang it down there in front of his face, so he has those additional goggles or whatever those are supposed to be. Again, just add some more details and design. I don't think I like them too much, so I'll probably leave those off and just have them like this, but it's nice to get those additional little accessories. And as with most of the Joes, we do get a backpack, so we have the brown backpack, has the shovel, some canteens, all that sort of stuff there. And like I said, especially for him, probably has a parachute packed in it, so we can put this in his back. So there, he's now ready to jump out of helicopter if there's any issues. And then we get weapons. So first we have a knife, so just a basic knife, all in this sort of dark gray color again, so we can take this and stick this in the sheath there on his chest. He comes with a pistol as well, so just a pretty basic pistol. I like how it has the longer point on there on the end of the barrel, but it looks pretty nice. And we can put this into the thigh holster over here. And I didn't realize, but for that pistol we do get a silencer as well that we can put on. And again, on the holster here, it has the slot in the front, so we can store this, so you can store that in there as well if we want. But then we can also give him his main weapon of the machine gun, and that silencer can also fit on the end of that. So we have the gun that has the magazine that does come out, and overall looks pretty nice. Looks like a little, probably a little SMG or something with an extended stock on the back of it that looks like it's probably folds up or whatever, but looks pretty cool for that. So let's put this into his hand. So there's Airborne all kitted out, ready to go into battle, and the helicopter's down. Overall, with all his equipment and everything, I think he looks pretty cool. Like I said, overall he's pretty basic and not exciting, but once we get the Dragonfly, he'll look pretty cool in that. So pretty awesome to have him in the collection. And next up we have Quick Kick, who is MacArthur Ito. His father is Japanese and his mother's Korean, and he earned a black belt in many martial arts over the years and worked as a stuntman in Hollywood, but he was eventually recruited by the Joes for their Ranger team. And overall it looks pretty cool here. Of course, it reminds me a lot of like Shang-Chi from Marvel Legends, or with like his background, he's probably sort of based off Bruce Lee as well, but overall looks pretty decent here. So he is of Asian descent, so he has more of that look to him, especially like in the face design, but I love how he's got the little bit longer black hair with the headband around that looks like it's probably the Japanese logo with the red circle on it there, but tied around this head, so that's nice. He is shirtless as well, but I like how the game is body. I feel this is a newer body where he's like much thinner and everything, but nice ripped everywhere else with this strap across his chest that has of course shurikens in there for ninja stars. Then we go down, he does have a gray belt around his waist that on the back does have some slots to hold like nunchucks, and then we get his black pants that I love the gray design up here on his thighs. I think that's pretty cool, just like the little swirls in there, but black going all the way down to he's got little cuffs here at the bottom that kind of up on his shins there, so it doesn't go all the way down, so it looks like martial arts pants. And then of course is barefoot there as well, and overall looks pretty decent. Of course, pretty basic design wise, but looks good for a martial artist. Now moot wise, get that'll twist all the way around, can look down that far and up the far again. Not a whole lot of range in the necks, but not bad. We get the shoulders that come up to 90 with the butterfly joint that goes back and forth. Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of range, like it's not going as far as it should, but not bad. And of course can rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow. That again with those pinless joints is real stiff, but it got it bent up there, so pretty decent. And then we get the wrist that'll twist around and hinge up and down for this hand. Then we go to the ab crunch. You can clearly see on him, so he can crunch forward and crunch back, so that's good. And he can also crunch and twist around at the waist. Then we go down to the hips up to 90 and out to the side. Again, can do the splits with those drop down hips. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, so again, not far from kicking his butt. Again, a shin twist down inside the pant leg there, so get that twist around, and the foot flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So decent range of movements overall. Again, pinless joints have some stiffness, especially on his elbows. It was really hard to get him to bend, but everywhere else works out really good. Now, accessory wise, we do get an additional head, so we get this head, which doesn't have a whole lot of change to it. The only thing is like his hair is more sort of flowing in the wind there, so it's more over to the side, and then his lips are more pushed together, almost doing like a duck lips or like kiss lips or something. But let's go and switch the head out. So there's that head again, not much difference in it, just a little more wind-blown hair. We get some additional hands, so he has 2 grip hands on already. So we get a set of fist hands, so obviously we can have him fist fighting, as well as some flat palm hands, so obviously posing up with like the martial arts designs. So we can probably use some of those depending on what we decide to give him weapon-wise. Then we get his backpack, so he has this red backpack that looks pretty nice, pretty basic, but again, just a backpack all in red with some slots that we can put some swords in. So let's put this on his back. So there he's got the backpack on, which now makes more sense why he has that red strap across his chest, so it's holding that backpack on. And for weapons, we do get a set of swords. So we get these 2 swords that look pretty cool. Nice designs. We've had these handles before. I forget who it is. Maybe with like Kamakura, some of characters we've had nunchucks with before. So you have these where they have the little faces, almost look like, to me, tigers or something, some sort of animal face design there on them, but nice little handles. You can see all the wrappings of designs, and 2 swords. So obviously we put those in his hands, but let's go and just store them in his back now. So he has these 2 slots slots on his backpack that we can store these down in. So they'll store on his backpack just like that. Then we also get a set of nunchucks themselves. So again, like I said, we have had these before with the animal design on, but with brown handles, the silver chain looks pretty cool. So obviously we can get these posed up, but as I showed, he does have the slots on the back that we can store them. Of course, it's going to be hard with his backpack. So you'll have to probably choose between the nunchucks or the swords and, kind of pick and choose and store the other ones. But let's maybe just stick the nunchucks in his hand for now. So there, I kind of posed him up a little bit with the nunchuck in his hand. So that looks pretty cool. Then he comes with some other little accessories. So first we get a set of ninja stars or a shuriken here, but I love the little like blue effect going on. So we have the shuriken on this side and then sort of like its effect coming off there with the blue. So that's cool. And finally, we also get a frozen fudgy bar as it's labeled. So just the chocolate bar that I assume is frozen, but looks pretty nice with the red wrapper. Of course, you see the silver on it as well. So that looks pretty fun. And we can put that in his hand as well. So overall, very cool look and design for Quick Kick. Like I said, obviously reminds me a lot of Shang-Chi from the Marvel Legends design, but overall, a pretty cool figure and a good, awesome addition to the collection. And next up, we have the Techno Vipers, which are Cobra's battlefield technicians that provide field maintenance support and combat engineering capabilities to Cobra's frontline troops and can repair the HISS tank. So it'd be cool to add him in with our HISS tank. And overall, looks pretty nice here. So we have our Techno Viper, which I do believe will be getting more over time in this design, just different variations and colors. But this one is purple, which I love. Purple is one of my favorite colors. So getting a figure that's a lot of purple is awesome. So it looks pretty cool. I love his face design, or helmet, I should say, because it looks familiar to me. Like, it reminds me a lot of something. I just cannot figure out what it is, but it looks cool with like the yellowish like green eyes on there, the silver around the face, of course, like the breather kind of overall reminds me of a stormtrooper sort of design, with the helmet piece up top with the black lines and silver and stuff. So a lot of details going on to the helmet. And then we have the chest plate, so this chest piece on here with our silver Cobra logo, some tubings running around that'll probably connect, supposed to be connecting into our backpack, some armor up on the shoulders with like this darker purple and then black designs look cool. Purple continues down the arms till we get the gauntlet pieces or forearm pieces that have different like pads and stuff, so that looks cool, where it says Cobra and then has some other little designs and little stuff. And this one probably is similar. I can't read it all what that's supposed to be, but it looks like it's a little global design and stuff. Down to the gloves are mostly all black, but have some purple on those as well. And then we continue down to the pants. He does of course have a belt around his waist with some pockets there and goes down to a thigh holster, but purple pants continue down, which I love, like the pocket designs on that. Black knee pads down to the black boots as well. So just these pretty basic boots that come up the shins there, but overall a pretty nice design. Like I said, mostly the purple makes it stand out, and overall I just like the design. It makes him look thicker and bulkier and have more armor or some sort of design to him like that to make him bigger, and overall it's pretty nice. Now movement wise, we get that they'll twist all the way around, can look down that far up there, so pretty much no movement. So a little bit just rocking at the head in that joint, so back and forth there. The shoulders do come up, which can come up to 90 with the butterfly joint back and forth, and then do rotate around, so we do get the shoulder pad that does move out of the way. And I love how it's got the little piece there that sort of wrap around the bicep as well, so it kind of keeps them on there, which is cool. Then we get a bicep twist as well up in there, and the double elbow joint, which is probably going to be stiff again. I can't get the upper elbow piece to move at all, so I can only get the lower one, so I can only go that far. So yeah, it's real stiff in there, so I'll probably have issues with this, but we get that. And then the wrist will twist around, and of course this does have the hinge. It feels like it's back and forth for this hand, so a little bit back and forth there because of the thick gauntlet piece. Hard to really get any additional movements. Then we go to the ab crunch, so it's right under here, so we can crunch back and forth, so pretty decent crunching back and forth. And then of course we do get the crunch and twist around at the waist. Then the hips come up to 90 and out to the side, can do the splits with those drop down hips, get the thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint, which again very similar to the elbow. The upper joint was really hard, but I was finally able to get it, and it can bend up that far. So I don't know what's up with this Techno Viper, why his joints are so stiff. Then we get a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So not bad movements, just real stiff in those joints, unfortunately, so it's hard to really get a lot of his movements. But he does come with a number of accessories, so one thing that's cool is we do get an arm readout, so this little thing that can pop up, which looks cool. I like how it says Tech there with Cobra and all sorts of little designs and detail. I know it's hard to really see that, but on both of the wrist pieces, we have holes in it that we can put them in, so you can just pick a hand and put this in if you want. I don't know which side is easier to get the pin. So there we can have the readout sticking off his arm like that, so we can be looking at that, which is pretty cool. And again, if the elbows worked a little bit better. We could obviously get him posed up a little bit better with that, but that's all I can really do with him there. But that is pretty cool, so I love that additional little feature for him. And then we get a backpack piece, so a backpack's going to function for a lot of his stuff. So we get this with some like purple tubing on there, and overall looks pretty basic just with the all black design and stuff, so not a whole lot to it, but we'll stick this in his back. So that's now sticking off the back there. And with that, we do also get a tubing piece. So we have this tubing, so nice silver tube with connections. We've seen this before. Now I do believe, I don't know if it goes in any certain place, so I assume we can just pick either one of these tube pieces at the top, so where the tanks are, and attach that, and then can run it around to his hands. Of course, the tubing isn't like the most flexible thing. Like, it's not horrible, like obviously you can get it flexed, but when you're trying to get a weapon in his hand, attach that to it, it does cause some issues, but we'll do that for now. And with that, he does come with 3 tools, or they call them power tools. So he comes with a power wrench, claw, and hammer. So we get these 3. So we have the hammer, probably the wrench, and the claw. I don't really know what all's supposed to be what. And these attach onto the tube. So let's maybe just do the hammer and put the hammer in his hand and attach this tubing to it. So there he's got the hammer. So again, with the tubing and being powered, probably gives some extra strength as you hammer and everything. So you can put the hammer in his hand there. And again, that tubing, like I said, is sort of messed up. Hard to really get it posed in his hand properly because the tubing's pulling on it. But you can have the hammer in his hand, and again do that same thing with either the wrench or the claw. But these also do store on his backpack, so we have the slots back here that we can store them in, so the weapons can store on the back just like that. So you always have those there and ready for him. And moving on to weapons, we get a pistol. So we have this pistol, which I really like. This design, of course, does have like a little bit of futuristic look to it, but does look cool with the extra little like attachments and stuff. And overall nice design. But that we can stick into the thigh holster here on his left leg, so that'll just store right down in there. And finally, he comes with his main weapon of this gun, which I don't know what it's supposed to be at all. I guess just some sort of weapon, but the hose does attach to it as well. But has this nice like big barrel, almost like a silencer or a suppressor, I guess, and like a scope up top and a nice stock design. So all of that looks pretty cool. So we can put this into his hand. But in his hands like that, we can also take the tubing, sort of pull it around here and put it into the bottom of this hand. So there the gun is now powered, or whatever it is, connected to the tubing and backpack piece. And again, you can adjust this to get it wherever you want, so you don't have any issues. But again, they don't really stick onto it. Like I said, it does fight around with it quite a bit, and with his elbows not being the best, it's hard to really get him posed up any better with it. But I think that looks pretty cool. So I don't know what the gun does, like what it does, especially connecting to his backpack, but I assume it adds some more power, gives it pressure, some whatever it's supposed to be. But I think that looks pretty cool. Like I said, love the design of the figure itself and the purple and all that, so that's no issue. It's just the actual figure, like joints and stuff, I have a lot of issue with just because they're so stiff, but he does look really cool. And finally, we have our deluxe figure of Metalhead, who is Stuart Finley. Now, he's a member of the Iron Grenadiers and works for Destro. He's the anti-tank weapons specialist with launchers strapped on his backpack and hip holsters, with a specialty visor that feeds coordinates to the missiles and are voice activated. So all he has to do is say a command and they will fire themselves. And overall, he looks pretty cool here. Nice design for him. So we get his face design. I love how he's got the little teardrop tattoo, so probably killed somebody, with the like goatee design, with of course gritted teeth showing that he's angry, with the bushy eyebrows. And then we have his long hair, so he's got the longer black hair sort of flowing in the wind there. Now this does hair that we can change, so it doesn't look the best and doesn't sit on him the best there, so not too happy with that. And it does seem a little bit loose on him, so that's not the best, but we get an accessory that we can switch it out and it'll look better for him. Then we get his outfit, which is mostly just all this red and gray design. So we have the Destro little logo there on his shoulder, and then we get the red up top, kind of point that kind of comes down, of course hidden under this vest, with switches over to this darker gray color to the black gloves. We get his chest piece on here. I love how it's got the cold slithering design and stuff on there, with some X's probably marking people he's killed, with some like silver scratches and stuff. So I love that little thing of the protecting his neck area there. Going around to the back pass, where I love how it's got like the spine design, all sorts of mechanic stuff going on here, probably to attach onto his guns that will go on there, so that'll be awesome. And then we get some pockets and a knife holster there on the front. Then we go down, he has a belt around his waist, just a normal standard belt. Then down his thighs, we do have the additional pieces for the rockets that go on his thighs, again in that gray color for the pants, some knee pads all the way down to the black boots with some red laces on the front of him there. So overall in this form, he looks pretty basic, but once we get all the attachments and stuff on him, he'll look really cool. Now, moot-wise, we get that little twist all the way around. A little bit hard with the hair, so you just got to worry about that. But you can look down that far and up that far. So, and again, not the best movements, but not horrible. We get the shoulders that come up to 90 with the butterfly joint and rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so not too bad at all for that. Wrist will twist around, and this hand has the hinge up and down hand. Then we go to the ab crunch again, hidden under the vest, but it does crunch back and forth there. And then at the waist, he crunches and twists all the way around. Then down to the hips up to 90 and out to the side. It's only that far because of his thigh pieces, but still those drop down hips, you got to push back up, and the thighs will twist all the way around. Then we get the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back, so not too bad, but not the best. And the shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So not bad overall. Like I said, some more limitations it seems like for him with his design, but no real super stiffness or anything like we've had. But like I said, with his accessories, he does start to look a lot better. So first, I guess we'll go and do in a certain order. So we can take his hair off. So again, like I said, we can switch it out for additional pieces. So before we put on what I would want on him, he does also come with this helmet. So this cool looking helmet. So it looks nice, almost like a saw blade up top with some spikes all over it. It looks like, the samurai sort of like layering there with some red coming around with the yellow eyes. That overall looks pretty cool. So we can put this on him. Of course, you got to get it in the right position to sit on him right. So he has that, which doesn't look bad. Like it's not like horrible, but I don't like that too much. That definitely is not what I would prefer him to have. But he does also come with this additional piece with the hair, but then he has his goggles as well, or glasses or visor, whatever you want to call it, that he helps him command the missile, so you can put that on him. And overall, I think the hair fits a little bit better. It's much tighter on him, and having the visor as well, I think helps quite a bit. So this is definitely what I'll want to keep on him. And then we'll go to his missile launcher. So we'll go with his backpack piece first. So we get this piece that goes into his back, and then we get these two rocket launchers that come off the side onto these like little hinge things, so they can twist side to side, hinge up and down, and then at the actual rockets themselves can move around and twist around stuff. So you can sort of position these almost anywhere you want, but pretty much just all black again. Just looks like a nice black backpack design with those rockets hanging off. And we do get some tubing as well coming down that will attach into the thigh ones. So we get this on his back. It's a little bit difficult, like it doesn't just seem to fit right in. You got to get it in the right position, but it's not bad. So it plugs in his back just like that and sits pretty flush on there. So that's nice. But of course, doing it, one of the tubings fell out, which fall out all the time. And of course, I also don't know if I have these right, if I'm supposed to be doing them a certain way, but I just sort of stick them like that, and then we'll attach them to the thighs. So there we have the two rocket launchers off of his back. So again, you can adjust these and sort of move them wherever you want, but I think that looks really cool. And as I mentioned, we get the thigh ones as well. So we get these rocket launchers that attach onto his thighs. So let's put these on these little pieces here. So there's the thigh rockets on. And if you're like me, unsure how they go on, you do put the silver at the back, and then you can take the tube, which isn't sticking, obviously. And there's a hole in between these. So down in between the two, there's a hole that you can stick this tubing into. But again, I can't really get it in and to stick. And I could have them wrong, but I think they sort of fit that way and look that way the best. But like I said, I can't really get it to stay in, but you can put those in there. So there he's got the rockets on his back and his hips now, which is crazy cool. But with those, we can put accessories on it. So we'll go and do these. So we get these rocket effects as well. So we get these effects. So we get the fire, like smoke effects, and then these yellow rockets on the end of them as well. So it comes with 3 different sizes. So we have the longest size, we have a medium size, and then a short. So we'll put the short and medium on the hips and the long ones up on his shoulders. So there he's got the rockets now shooting off of his hips and off the ones on his shoulders. So that is just crazy cool looking with all those rockets shooting out. So crazy man here with all those rockets just shooting off so close to him. And then of course we do get weapons as well that we can give him. So first we have a knife. So nice silver blade with a black handle that can just go onto his chest. So it just slides right on his chest there. Then he comes with like this SMG or little like more Uzi like gun, or the oil gun, or whatever they call it. Looks pretty nice. Of course has the magazine that does come out there with the red and black design, which is cool. So we'll put this in his left hand. So there he's got that gun. And then he also comes with this rifle as well. Again, in the red and black design, has the magazine that comes out. Love like the shotgun barrel or whatever underneath it as well. Just pretty cool design. And we'll put this in his right. So there we have Metalhead all kitted out now with the weapons, with his rockets, just all sorts of craziness going on here. And he's just a madman to have all this on him at once, but crazy cool at the same time. And of course you can adjust stuff, switch stuff around if you want rockets in different positions, put different guns, whatever you want to do. Just looks crazy cool there. Having him like this just looks awesome. So fun character to add to the collection with all his weapons and rockets and stuff. And then cool that it has the additional hair and helmet and all that sort of stuff, so we can make him look even crazier with that helmet especially. But just for this figure overall, it's pretty awesome. Well, that's it for our G.I. Joe Classified Series Wave 17. We're in the basic wave. We got Big Boa, Airborne, Quick Kick, and the Techno Viper. And then we had our deluxe figure of Metalhead. So all 5 of these are really cool. I especially love the first 3 here. Big Boa, Quick Kick, and Metalhead are all really cool just with their each like own uniqueness and everything. Of course, Airborne and the Techno Viper are pretty similar, just basic like troopers, especially for Joe and Cobra. But I love the design like the Techno Viper with the cool like technology based power weapons and stuff, and the purple design. And then Airborne, like I said, will go perfectly with our Dragonfly when we get that, and so he'll be cool for that. But as he is here, doesn't look bad, just very basic, but very cool figures overall. I must say, absolutely love the look and design of each one of these, and a pretty cool wave overall. But let me know what you thought of them down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.